Are the Washington Capitals a one-season wonder team? Will the New York Rangers have a bounce-back year? Will the New Jersey Devils be healthy for once this season? And is this the last year Crosby is going to be a Pittsburgh Penguin? This is our Metropolitan Division preview and predictions video. Hit the subscribe button down below, and let's get right into it with our 8, 7, and 6 teams.
At number 8, I am going with the Philadelphia Flyers. At number 7, I am going with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And at number 6, I went with the New York Islanders.
Number 8, Philadelphia Flyers. Number 7, Pittsburgh Penguins. Number 6, this is where we differ. I went with the Columbus Blue Jackets. I guess we'll talk about Philly. One big change they had this year was they brought in Rick Tocchet. And Rick Tocchett's history usually as a first-year head coach isn't bad, right? I'm not going to talk about Tampa. That was a long time ago. But when he was with Arizona, he leveled them up. I think he even made the playoffs or was close to making the playoffs. With the Canucks, he won Coach of the Year. And now he's in Philadelphia. The problem with this team, people are comparing it to the Canucks team, him leaving the Canucks for Philadelphia, because it wasn't that he got fired or it was a mutual parting of ways. He stepped away himself. Is that this roster isn't close to what the Canucks have. This roster does not have the number one and a superstar defenseman in Quinn Hughes, who's top 2 in the NHL. This team, yes, when he's good, doesn't have an Elias Pettersson type player. This team does not have the goaltending anywhere near to the Vancouver Canucks, especially with a healthy Thatcher Demko. Yes, does he have some talent? Yes, but there's a lot to work on with this team. They traded for Trevor Zegras. Okay, sure, that's gonna be a fun line with Matvei Michkov because offense is gonna be fun there. But then there's also something called Tocchet type hockey where he sucks the fun, is what they say. So for that reason, there's a lot of question marks. That's why I have him last place. Yes, like I said, they have talent, Konechny, Sanheim, all these guys. But again, it's still one of the weaker divisions, and I still don't think they're going to be able to touch the other teams.
And that's the biggest point here. Do I think Tocchet and Philly might have a successful run? I won't say no to that. But I don't think it's gonna happen in the first year. And the reason is, like you laid it out, Rick Tocchet is this, boring structure, stay solid defensively type of guy. And obviously
North-South,
which is not bad, but in terms of chance generation is not enough. Like we saw the Canucks playoff runs, we saw these guys win games with like 10 shots on goal.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at the Philadelphia Flyers, you have these like fun offensive players like Trevor Zegras, who doesn't really care about his defensive responsibilities. I will see if he develops into that right now or not. But like at the moment, that's what's shown on ice. We don't know what Matvei Michkov, like his strength is obviously the offensive side of the game. So how does Rick Tocchet develop these players into who they're supposed to be while giving them some sort of defensive responsibility, and at the same time not have that defensive responsibility take away their offensive game? Because at the end of the day, like we know Konechny and Sanheim, these veteran guys on the Flyers will Couturier will buy in, or we'll figure it out. But like kind of like Michkov and Zegras figure out. Like more so, my concern is Michkov, because we saw what Tocchet did with Kuzmenko. You can't do that with Michkov. You literally can't, because this team literally spent a top 6 pick on him.
Yeah. But I mean, Konechny and Couturier are really good two-way players, right? So like they're going to be in, but they're not good as Elias Pettersson and JT Miller were when he had those guys, right? So overall, it's going to be an interesting year to see with these guys. Like, he went back home. Like he's a Philadelphia legend, right? He's a Flyer legend. We'll see how that pans out for certain things. But like I said, going back to the goaltending, Thatcher Demko was a top 2 Vezina finalist, right? He was a top 2 Vezina in voting. And then Bruce Boudreau said he said himself he never apologizes for good goaltending, because great goaltending makes great coaches sometimes. And in this case, yes, he brought in Dan Vladar. He had a really good year with Calgary, along with Dustin Wolf. They were a really good tandem. But I don't know how the split's gonna be with Samuel Ersson and him, but it's going to be interesting to see. If Dan Vladar does show that he's capabilities of playing a number 1, then sure, this team could surprise some people. We know that. Philly's done that before. But yeah, it's going to be tough for me to put them ahead of some of these other teams.
Yeah, Vladar is a great guy to have. Sam Ersson is 25.
Yeah.
He's like he had some decent little stretches last year where he was looking like, the bona fide next goal.
He was good for Sweden.
And like you said, he was good for Sweden. So we don't know what Sam Ersson really is at the moment. And when you're looking at it, if he does develop into the number one goalie, which is probably perfectly fine, he should be able to control that job, in my opinion, if the development goes properly. Whereas Vladar coming in, solid backup, good answer in net. Like, this guy will be like the Casey DeSmith was for the Canucks. He just came in. The confidence wasn't shot for the players. They knew that DeSmith will be able to do his job every time he came in. That's what Vladar is going to be, maybe even better. So when you're looking at Vladar being number one, I don't necessarily agree with that look. But in terms of Ersson taking a jump, that's probably where they want the hope in the goaltending to be.
But let's go on to our number 17. We both have the other Pennsylvania team, and that's Pittsburgh Penguins. Will I be surprised if they finish last? Not really, especially if they trade Sidney Crosby, right? And like in my intro, I said, is he going to be a Penguin for this whole season? I genuinely don't know. I'm going to ask you this off the bat. There's a two-part question. One, would you want Sidney Crosby to finish his career in Pittsburgh? And two, should he?
Would I want to? Yes, just because he's been there all his life. So when I'm looking at Crosby, I don't think he will be the type of guy to like force his way out. But should he? Yes, because this guy still has good hockey left in him. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are just not in a good spot right now. The roster's aging. They don't have a great prospect pool. And when you're looking at the Pittsburgh Penguins, they've been taking step backwards the last few years. So, yeah, should he? Yes, if he wants to still be on a competitive team and still have another playoff run in him. And he has the capability of doing that. But would he, or would I want him to? Probably not, just because being the legend for one team throughout your whole entire career, and like you've seen the ups and the downs and ups and then now the downs again, is gonna kind of, I won't say cement his legacy even more because his legacy is cemented, but like I guess will help his narrative.
Will he? If you're predicting it right now.
Well, I just said yeah. Like he
do you think he ultimately will leave is what I'm saying?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So like for me, will he? It's tough because he said himself that like he wants to remain here, but again, stuff can change over time. Should he, and do I want him to? I for both of them, for me is a yes. Will he? I that's where I'm like, I don't think he will. He should. As simple as that. Like, NHL's in a better place when Crosby's in the playoffs. And like I get the whole one team legend thing. Don't get me wrong, that holds a lot of value. We've seen that in multiple sports. We've seen that in basketball. Kobe, Dirk. Dirk only won one championship, and he's beloved in Dallas, right? Like in hockey, at the end of the day, Gretzky was gone. I know that Edmonton traded him. I get that, but what I'm saying is we've seen guys move on. And I know Joe Thornton started his career off with the Boston Bruins, but he's known for San Jose, and he eventually moved on. Patrick Marleau, another guy, right? Sidney Crosby is still really good. Sidney Crosby is in the same boat as like how Tom Brady was aging. Maybe not to the level of LeBron is doing, but still there. Ronaldo, Messi, he's there. So yeah, like obviously throw the floor. Like if he should leave for a contender. I know the Montreal thing works out because he's a Montreal fan growing up. They're an upcoming team. He could mentor them, and if Montreal does surprise some people this year, maybe go there this season. But if obviously we know the connection with Florida is Marchand. We know the connection with the Avalanche, who need a second line center, is Nathan McKinnon, and even pair him up if you need to. So yeah, I want him to see him in a good team because like his line, sure, Brian Russ, Rickard Rakell, Sidney Crosby, really good. After that, Getty Malkin at this point of his career is probably washed. And from there on out, I am not confident, even defensively. Like Erik Karlsson, offensively, fine, great, whatever. Chris Letang is old. Matt Dumba, like same vibe as well, right?
Like it's simple. They're aging roster. Just like that's what I said. That's what you literally went through. The only highlight right now is seeing Marc-Andre Fleury play that last preseason game, which was obviously a sick moment.
That's the new precedent of retirement with your team.
But when I'm looking at it, the main topic of debate here is Sidney Crosby. Everybody agrees that Pittsburgh is not going to be a great team unless Sidney Crosby somehow carries them to the playoffs,
and
which I wouldn't pass. And his goaltending just doesn't let him down, which I wouldn't put it past him. In terms of Crosby doing that.
So we know. I feel like he's going to take over the net from Tristan Jarry because Tristan Jarry has not been good for the last couple of years.
So, but yeah, when you look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, the team sucks. Literally the conversation or the talk of the town, or just the talk, having NHL conversations about the Pittsburgh Penguins are just going to be all about will he stay or will he go?
Yeah.
That's it.
So number 6 for me was Columbus. Number 6 for you was the New York Islanders. The reason why I went with Columbus is because I just feel like with the Islanders, Matt Barzal's healthy. He only played like 30 games last year. That alone will give him a jump, in my opinion. That's the main reason why I have him surpassing Columbus. Columbus had a really good year last year. We know what they went through as a team last year with the tragedy of the Goudreau brothers. But like, I still think though they're going to be fun. They're going to be good. I get it. The young guys there, Fantilli took a step. Ken Johnson took a step. I understand that. Their goaltending, in my opinion, is still not very good. On a consistent basis. I generally don't know who this Jet Greaves guy is. I'm going to be straight up with you, and I know this is our job to look into it, but I generally do not know. Merzlikins, he's up and down. You know that too as well for the last couple of years. But I just think like this is more so that I think New York Islanders are going to just be a better team with year with Barzal healthy. They got Matthew Schaefer. I'm not going to say he's going to come out and be nuts there. And I just like their goaltending overall better. So this is like more on, for me, I'm putting Columbus down here because I feel like they'll take a step back this year, but they'll continue to keep developing, and there should be a good team going forward. Like this team can be that Anaheim team and take a jump. Don't get me wrong, but I want to see it this year to believe it more so.
The New York Islanders for me at number
6.
It just got. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair.
It just genuinely. I'm just looking at it. Like it's not like I have. Like the bottom two were pretty clear for me, and then this middle of the pack is like where it gets a little bit closer for me. I do believe in the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the youth development that they had last year was good, and I think that will help them in terms of either keeping it the same or maybe even a minor progression. But or maybe even a minor fall off, but not just a big fall off. But when I'm looking at it with the New York Islanders, I just
mid.
They're mid, right? When I'm looking at this team, again, another aging roster as well. Matt Barzal is the only main guy, and obviously Matthew Schaefer now. So I just don't know what the Islanders are going to do. Like, I don't know what their direction is, because we clearly saw them trade away Noah Dobson because they had the first overall pick, and
they didn't want to pay him.
They didn't want to pay him.
And part of it, I don't think he didn't want to be there either.
And then they got Matthew Schaefer, right? So why does, like, I don't know why I'm getting this feeling where, like, if they don't start off good, I might get this feeling where they
Patrick Roy is on the hot seat then. If they don't start off good.
Yeah, but like, let me finish my point.
Yeah, go ahead.
If the thing is, if they were able to do that with Dobson, a guy who's a little bit younger, and they don't start off good, why won't they be able to sell off their veteran players to get some of your younger guys and like actually do a proper rebuild? Because we saw the Islanders be competitive in the playoffs. They made the ECF multiple times when they lost to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But like ever since that moment, they haven't really, barely made the wild card, get out in the first round, or missed the playoffs. So they've kind of been in that no man's land. So when I'm looking at it, if they start off slow, I could see them get rid of pieces and just, develop or get a younger prospect pool and see if they could develop younger players and rebuild fully and properly.
Even then, I'm going to fight I'll help your point a little bit. Lou Lamoriello's not there anymore, so we don't know what's going to be the direction going forward. But then if you're saying that if they're going to try to sell some of these pieces, I don't know how high the value is going to be for some of these guys. Listen, Bo Horvat's a really good player. Matthew Barzal are really good players. But I don't know how much you're going to... Like, you're not going to get what the Canucks got for trading away Bo Horvat at this point in his career. Personal opinion. I'm not saying that. We know how, as Canucks fans, we know the high character guy Bo Horvat is, how good of a face-off guy, offensive player he is. But there are some limitations with him because he's not a top-line guy. Barzal's health has been... last year was terrible, but he hasn't... I don't think he played an 82 game or close to that for a while. I mean, I could look it up to double-check. But it's going to be tough. But we'll see how it ends up going. But yeah, these two spots, in my opinion, were the close ones. But before we continue on with our two potential wildcard contender teams, the 5 and 4, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. As you could tell, we've been dropping our division previews and predictions. This is currently our last one we're doing. So that means we've already dropped our Central, Pacific, and Atlantic. So you guys want to check out those videos as well. Hit the subscribe button because we still got our full playoff picture predictions to come through, as well as our award season. And we're back, baby. We're going to be dropping once a week, maybe twice a week on this channel. So you guys do not want to miss that, especially if you guys are big hockey fans. So hit that subscribe button below and comment down below what are your predictions for this Metropolitan division. Who's winning it? What is your standings? We will engage with you guys in the comments with that as well. But let's move on to our 5 and 4 teams. I already mentioned mine. It is the New York Islanders, and it's mainly because Matthew Barzal's health. That should help them going forward this year. I know Patrick Roy is going to be on the hot seat, and I think Elias Sorokin will have a somewhat more of a bounce back year. I know he hasn't been the same as his Vezina caliber type years that he had, but overall, like this team, yeah, they're mid, but I think they're mid enough that they'll flirt with a playoff spot, is what I'm saying.
And for me, already said it, it's the Columbus Blue Jackets because they're very close. And like I said, I don't expect too much of a fall off. I could see them have a stable year with how their young guys developed last year, and they have a young team. So that is my number 5 team. I'm not going to go into it more because I've already been into it. At number 4, I'm going with the New Jersey Devils. And the reason why is, one, this team faces a lot of injuries.
All right, but before you continue, my number 4 is the Washington Capitals. But yeah, continue.
The New Jersey Devils face a lot of injuries. The New Jersey Devils were a team that we thought were gonna take the next step of being cup contenders, but they really haven't. A massive part of that is because Jack Hughes hasn't been healthy for the playoffs. I don't think the last 2 playoff runs he wasn't there. I know they have these young talented guys, Simone Nemec, Luke Hughes.
Luke Hughes got paid.
Luke Hughes
very surprised he got that big of a contract at this point of the season.
Exactly.
And he's going to be missing some time because he missed some time from training camp. And we know that's not a good thing sometimes.
That Dougie Hamilton's up there, getting up there in age now. And also injuries. And also injured himself. Timo Meier is a good player, but I'm not saying he's an injury-prone guy, but I've seen this guy be injured too. So I'm just looking at it, and I'm just seeing the New Jersey Devils, and they just don't seem a very healthy team. And their star players haven't really been too available. And on top of that, goaltending-wise, I know Markstrom has been an upgrade from what they have years past, but it's not like Markstrom's any younger. He's like 35 himself.
He's on a contract year himself this year.
I don't know how much of a contract year might help him get paid one more.
Yeah.
But if we could also see the fall off of Jacob Markstrom because he is very much up there in age. So this is just a lot of question marks, gut feeling.
It's a lot of health.
And a lot of health, basically, I'm banking on because that's the thing. Because we literally saw these guys and like Jack Hughes be like heart favorites, like a heart favorite. And then he gets injured and then the Devils fall off a little bit where they go from like the 2nd to 3rd or maybe even 4th. But they just somehow lock in the 3rd spot like they did last year. This year, I think it's going to be a slightly different conversation if these guys get injured early on.
I went with Washington, and the reason why is, like at the beginning, I posed the question: are these guys a one-season wonder? I'm gonna say no to that because if that was the case, I'd probably maybe put them below Islanders for all I know. The question mark for these guys is all these guys that took a step forward, like everything went well for them. Again, we labeled them as the Canucks from the year before. Is it gonna be done again this year? We know how motivated Ovechkin was to get that record done this year, and I'm not saying he's unmotivated now because they proved that they're a good team when they all play well and all that, right? We don't know if this is going to be Ovechkin's last year as well. But again, what's the situation with PLD? Every other year, he's like, it's a wave. Good, bad, good, bad. And this year, he's on the trajectory to be bad. I'm not saying he's going to be that. Let's see if he could turn back the clock. Dylan Strome, career year. Is he going to do the exact same thing point per year? I believe in him. But guys like Connor McMichael, guys like Protest took big jumps. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's not sustainable. I'm not saying it's going to be as high. There might be a little bit of drop off, especially with the Rangers now should be a better team. I put them here because of that reason, because I just don't think they're going to be as high. Everything went well last year. Almost everything went well last year, right? We know some certain injuries happen. I get that. But then we saw them kind of get exposed in playoff time against the Carolina Panthers. Sorry, Carolina Hurricanes.
If you're getting exposed by the Carolina Panthers in the playoffs,
I mixed up the Florida Panthers.
There is something wrong.
Oh, I know.
With your franchise.
But what was the series ended up being, like 4-1?
It was 4-1.
Yeah, right. So like at the end of the day, as the season went on, you kind of saw certain flaws, and I feel like this year with like the Rangers being better, and if the Devils are a healthy team, they're just a more talented team in my opinion. That's the reason why I have them at 4th place.
Again, like I said, the Columbus and New York Islanders are very close for me. The Capitals and the Devils are very close for me as well. I went with Capitals. We're going to go into our top 3 now. The Capitals at number 3, the Rangers at number 2, and I have the Carolina Hurricanes winning the division. just because they usually do most of the time.
So-
but when I'm go for your top 3.
New Jersey Devils for me are number 3, Rangers 2, Carolina Hurricanes 1. I am a little surprised. I'm not saying I'm like totally shocked you said that, but I was just knowing you, I was a little surprised you put the Rangers at 2. Just knowing you. After this year they had last year.
When you're looking at, I'm gonna get into that later.
Yeah.
Capitals. There's one thing I really did like from what I saw last year, and is that these guys can still play at a high level when their best player is not in the lineup, which was Alexander Ovechkin. So that sign right there shows me that these guys are a proper team. These guys are well coached. These guys have a solid defenseman, John Carlson, Rasmus Sandin, Jacob Chicherin. There's like a couple other guys I'm missing who have been, pretty good in holding the defensive side. And then the goaltending tandem is pretty good.
Yeah.
With Logan Thompson and
Charlie Lindgren.
And Logan Thompson, I'm still gonna be fighting fighting for him to make Team Canada. But obviously he's gonna have to play incredible again, like how he started off last year. So when I'm looking at the Washington Capitals, they kind of have like I said, they kind of have the culture set. They kind of have the players, the young mix of young players with good veterans, and they have that across like the forwards, defensively, and then goaltending wise. So it's not just Alex Ovechkin, the only old guy there. Like Tom Wilson has contributed as a veteran. So obviously John Carlson's been doing that. And then mix that in with some young talent, up and coming talent.
Ryan Leonard is in the lineup.
Right, Ryan Leonard. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah.
Connor McMichael. Dylan Strome is not like super young, but he's still like he's still like in his prime, entering his prime. So that's the good sign I'm looking at it. Like even if Ovechkin does like take a step back, which shouldn't be too surprised if he does, just because he is like almost 40, that these guys are able to step up and are able to play without that.
Again, toss up between them and number 3 for me. I did forget to mention Spencer Carberry. He showed his first year that he took that team to the playoffs and then leveled up even more last year, right? So like, yeah, to your point, again, 6'5" are flippable, 4'3" are completely 4'3", even 2 in a certain degree are flippable as well. But I went with the New Jersey Devils and I mentioned it earlier. I just like the talent. Simple. I like their goalie tandem still. Yeah, if Jacob Markstrom, but Jake Allen is still really good as well. Yes, if they're not healthy, then I agree with you. I should be switching that. I'm just going to take the positive route and be like, okay, at the moment they're healthy. They're going into the season healthy. That's fine. Because Jack Hughes, if that's the case, by the way, I learned this morning. Jack Hughes, I don't think any Devil has not hit either 50 goals or 100 points for how good those teams have been over the years. And if there's healthy Jack Hughes, he should be able to get 100 goals. He was flirting with that a couple of years ago, right?
He will get it.
The early Hart favorite was Jack Hughes. He ends up getting hurt. Kirill Kaprizov last year, he ends up getting hurt. But going back to it, their top 2 lines, I really like it. Like Nico Hischier is our top 2-way center in the league, right? So your 1-2 punch being Hughes and Hischier, that's a lot better than many teams in the NHL, right? Like only one, there are many, like we know the superstar duo, which is like McDavid and Draisaitl. So that there is good. Jesper Bratt, really good winger. So they have pieces, Timo Meier. The problem with these guys is now after paying Luke Hughes 7/9, when it comes to making moves, they got to figure it out because Andre Palat has not lived up to that contract that he did get. Like we know he's a bottom 6 guy now. We'll see what ends up happening. Luke Hughes did surprise me to get that contract because it wasn't like he had Lane Hudson type year. To be frank, yes, he's a Hughes brother. I'm not saying that's the reason why he got the contract or anything like that. But like this shows that Lane Hudson's probably gonna get like $10 million for sure if it's a long-term contract. I get it. He got it probably because he signed the long-term deal. But like, heading this late into the year, no training camp, and that has not worked out for many players in the NHL, in my personal opinion. Last year being Jeremy Swayman, and I understand goalie's a different position. But I'm just strictly banking on the talent overall. Luke Hughes should be good. He should be getting the responsibility of quarterbacking the power play and just taking a step forward. Hopefully, like a guy like Simon Nemec takes another step. And all these guys take a step forward. That's why I went with number 3. I was flirting with them at 4. I do totally agree with you. I don't disagree with what you're saying. But we'll see what ends up happening during the year because the talent is that good. But number 2, we both have the New York Rangers. And the reason why, first of all, JT Miller did get a scary injury, but it's supposedly not major, which is good at practice. But the big reason why first of all, they're too talented not to have bad of a year again. And number 2, their coach is Mike Sullivan. Number 3, Igor Shesterkin is their goalie. And number 4, I expect they got Gavrikov, and I expect Adam Fox to bounce back this year. 2 is like Norris. Self.
Yeah, okay. Mike Sullivan, you like that as a head coach. This guy's a cup-winning head coach. Took the Pittsburgh Penguins to another level in 2016 and 2017. So I could see that jump for the Rangers, even having some sort of playoff success. Number 2, Igor Shesterkin, but I'm going to add this little caveat to it. Igor Shesterkin wasn't Igor Shesterkin last year. And that doesn't mean he was necessarily really bad, because
he was still really good.
He was still like solid enough. But the reason why I think Igor Shesterkin will return to Igor Shesterkin form is he's not going to have this contract drama with him anymore. Yeah. Which is, I think, played a kind of a big part, because we saw the news where like this guy could literally be gone, to this guy's going to be the highest paid goalie, to do the Rangers have enough cap, all that stuff. And then they figured it out, made him the highest paid goalie, and he's their long-term goaltender. And as long as he's in form, the Rangers are always going to have a chance in every single hockey game and every single playoff series. JT Miller being there for the whole year.
And captain now.
And being a captain. So he, like, at the end of the day, JT Miller, if people like him or hate him, or how he like acts in the locker room, but at the end of the day, he is a leader. As simple as that. So him being captain suits well. And it will suit him. Having him and Mika Zibanejad, who you hope that will bounce back.
But he's on the wing now. He's not a center anymore.
Yeah, that's the issue. So like, because I feel like the biggest issue with them is they couldn't defend from the front properly, and Mika Zibanejad was one of the main reasons why. Yeah. Getting a guy like JT Miller, who literally owns that, is gonna be a big help.
Especially when he's on.
Yeah.
When he's off, he's terrible.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But like,
then add in Panarin into the mix. Add in obviously
Vincent
Trocheck, and
Will Cooley had a good year last year.
Yeah, Will Cooley. Then add in. And just throw in Lafreniere, who's been improving.
Yeah, started off really good. He was consideration for 4 nations, and then he kind of fell off a cliff. He is the biggest X factor for them offensively. JT Miller is a captain. That one thing that shows me, it was very surprising that he did get captain over a guy like even Vincent Trocheck. I understand why not Zibanejad, because they tried to move Zibanejad, and we know Chris Drury and Chris Drury was lethal. Like, he was like hardcore with his stuff last year. But it seems like Drury and Mike Sullivan what made JT Miller a captain for a reason. Is because he wants his type of attitude to set the culture in the locker room, whether people like it or not. Trocheck is really good friends with JT Miller, so I expect him to be a similar vibe as well.
And you mentioned culture. The Rangers lacked a culture last year.
Exactly.
They just genuinely, when we saw the mistakes and the reason why Rangers lost the game, it was because they didn't have people like JT Miller, a guy who literally owns all the responsibility, and when he's on, he's gonna do everything from all over the defensive side, face-offs, and the offensive side.
Yeah.
So if you have guys like are locked in like that, who will take the responsibility, even if guys like Zibanejad, who might not be known for his defensive side, just put in a little bit more effort.
Yeah.
And just a little bit more, I guess, IQ in terms of being in the right spot. That's just gonna go a long way. So again, I 100% agree with him being the captain, and like you said, I agree with you as well.
Yeah, like this, I think this is Panarin's last year as well. So he's gonna show like he's been like one of the best players in this decade as well. Yeah, this team is just too talented. Have a really good head coach. Should have a culture set up. Should have bounce back years from a lot of players, especially Adam Fox. Will Borgen was really good when they traded him for Capo Caco. If Alexei Lafreniere finds his form, yes, this team can challenge to be the best team in the division. But we both have the best team in the division to be the Carolina Hurricanes, similar to Tampa. But this one a little bit more clear. Their additions and just having mainly the same roster, they're by far on paper the best team in this division because they have the least amount of question marks. They added Nikolai Ehlers, and they had Logan Stankoven now from the beginning of the year, and he had a really good year last year. Yes, they went through the drama of not bringing back Jake Gensel and they wasn't able to get that done, and then they went for the Mikko Rantanen move. Did not work out both ways, fit, and he didn't want to be there. But they also brought in from the New York Rangers, Keandre Miller. So defensively, they're already really good off the bat, right? Jacob Slavin. We know how much we love him, right? Keandre Miller, Jalen Sheffield, Sean Walker. That's a really good top 4. You have a power play specialist in Shane Gostisbehere. That's his primary role there as well. And then, yeah, like you said, let's see how Nikolai Ehlers is going to fit here. Yes, is he better than Mitch Marner? No. But for these guys, he should be able to get the job done. Hoping for a bounce back year for a guy like Sebastian Aho.
When you look at the Carolina Hurricanes and the moves they made in terms of getting Jake Gensel and Mikko Rantanen, don't get me wrong, you would rather have Jake Gensel or Mikko Rantanen, like 100%.
Oh yeah, I'm 1,000,000%.
But the fact that like how these guys were able to recover off of that,
yeah,
is quite impressive. So you're telling me, okay, Jake Ansel, you missed on, which I think
It was their fault.
It was their fault. You genuinely fumbled that. Mikko Rantanen, whatever the case was, he didn't want to be there. You took a swing. I didn't hate it.
And even
but
then
the fact you were able to land a guy like Stankoven, who did play really well for you, and then on top of that, I know he's not technically part of the trade, but a guy like Nikolai Ehlers, the fact that you turned one very good superstar level winger to two very solid
Forwards, yeah.
top 6 forwards is a good thing in my opinion, and in terms of increasing their depth. Yes, my biggest concern for the Carolina Hurricanes is the lack of star power. Who will be that one guy that'll step up and get him out of that rut? I don't have that answered yet fully, but in terms of a complete team, and a complete forward group, and a complete defensive group, that is very good. And obviously the question mark is the star power, and number 2, we all know is goaltending.
They have, to your star power point, at the end of the day, they have studs.
They have studs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, do you consider Jacob Slavin a superstar now or no?
But you're looking at an offensive side.
No. I'm just saying in general though. Just in general.
Yeah, I think he's really good. I don't know superstar level or not, but at the end of the day, you could consider that. But that being said though, but the issue is not that. The issue is who's going to step up and score goals for you. That's fair. That's the issue.
But overall, 4 lines, I like all of them. We know the drama behind Cock and Yummy. I get that. Listen, at the end of the day, this team's biggest question mark is can they get out of the second, third round, essentially, is the big question. And to be honest, agree or disagree with me here. They're the best team in the East right now on paper.
At the moment?
At the moment on paper.
I would probably disagree.
Go ahead.
I give it to Tampa right now.
You give it a Tampa? Okay,
I give it to Tampa.
I'll disagree with that because I do believe it's these guys to a certain degree. I understand Tampa got the best line probably in hockey, top 3 at least in my opinion. But overall team-wise, top to bottom, except for goaltending, guys, but forwards and defensively, I feel like they're going to be really good.
That's the reason why I have Tampa.
Yeah, but Carolina is also going to be one of the more hated teams in the NHL because they're in on Carter Hart. We know the drama there. They were in on Michael McLeod. I think they're supposed to get him done. So which means they're going to have some negative eyes on them as well. Especially, yes, they're going to Carolina for probably a good reason because, not just because they're a good team, but not many people in America will care. But obviously when the Canadian teams play them, we know what the reaction is going to be like and overall with that. But if you're talking about on ice at the moment, I feel like this team is the best team in the Eastern Conference. And listen, this is their best year to get to the Stanley Cup final. I don't know. Do you agree with that at least?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because again, Florida, question marks because of the injuries. Here, we don't know what the Rangers and Devils statuses are going to be during the year, right? So overall, that pretty much wraps it up for us. Number 8, Philadelphia Flyers. 7, Pittsburgh Penguins. 6, Columbus Blue Jackets. 5, New York Islanders. 4, Washington Capitals. 3, the New Jersey Devils. 2, the New York Rangers. And 1, the Carolina Hurricanes. For me,
I had the same bottom 2 in the Flyers and the Penguins, but I went with the New York Islanders at number 6. Number 5, I went with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Number 4, I went with the Devils. 3, Capitals. Then 2, Rangers, and 1, the Carolina Hurricanes.
But yeah, overall, that pretty much wraps it for us. That's our predictions, the preview. Like we mentioned before, we want to hear your guys' down in the comments down below. Make sure you guys hit the like button for this one because we want to know if you guys actually do genuinely like these videos. We can keep making more content like this as well. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button as well. Upcoming on the screen right now, you will see our Atlantic Division preview and predictions video. Make sure you guys check out that video. We'll catch you guys over there. We'll catch you guys in the next one as well. Peace.